Good evening and welcome into Sports Talk at the Stadium. Phil Kornblut from Death Valley at Clemson, where, quite honestly, we saw a hell of a football game tonight. The Tigers hold on to beat Louisville in a thriller 23-17. You have to credit this one to the Tiger defense and special teams. They carried the day. It was a game in which the Clemson offense did not score a touchdown. Chad Morris said he couldn't remember the last time he coached a game and didn't score an offensive touchdown. But it was a team victory. Clemson had to overcome a lot. The loss of Deshaun Watson to a broken finger in the first quarter, a last-minute drive by Louisville that nearly won the game for the Cardinals, but the Clemson defense came up huge to save the day. A big punt return early for Adam Humphries and Ammon Lakup. What can you say about him? Much criticized early in the season, but he hit 3 big field goals for the Tigers, and each one of them was needed. Let me recap the scoring for you. Humphries got it going for the Tigers with a 72-yard punt return, the first time any Tiger touched the ball, to make it 7-0. The Cardinals came back with a field goal of 41 yards from John Wallace to make it 7-3. Then early second quarter, Louisville takes the lead on a 2-yard touchdown run by Dominique Brown. The Tigers defense came up big later in the first half. It was Grady Jarrett and the defensive line hitting the quarterback who was attempting to throw the football. The ball comes loose at the 2. Tavares Barnes picks it up. He bulls his way into the end zone for a touchdown. Tigers were up 14-10. They made it 17-10 in the third quarter, 45-yard field goal by Lakup. But the Cardinals came back to tie it midway through the third. Eli Rogers, a 22-yard pass from Will Gardner, who was inserted in the game in the third quarter to try to get something going through the air for the Cardinals down the field, and he did just that. 22-yard touchdown pass, 17-17. Lakup kicks a field goal, the final play of the third, to put the Tigers up 3, and then with 1:24 to play, he kicks a 21-yard field goal to put the Tigers up 6. And then Tigers had to hold on at the very end, leading 23-17. Louisville has the football. The Clemson defense had been solid all day long, but Gardner hits James Quick, 73 yards. Looks like he might score. But Tigers safety Jerron Kearse never gives up on the play, and he tackles him at the 8-yard line. Louisville's out of timeouts, but they did have enough time to run a couple of plays, which they did. They got nothing really out of those 2 plays. And then on third down, Bobby Petrino had his quarterback spike the ball. He took the responsibility for Gardner doing that. So all of a sudden, with no timeouts left and just a few seconds to go, Louisville's down to one final play. It was a play that Petrino ran last year when he was the head coach at Western Kentucky, have the quarterback roll to the right and sort of flood the right side of the end zone. But Deshaun Williams of the Tigers came up with a big defensive play, knocked the ball down, and Clemson's defense came up huge. So you had Deshaun Watson go out with the broken finger and Deshaun Williams step up with the big defensive play there to give the Tigers that victory. We talk about Deshaun Watson. He went out in the first quarter on a running play over in front of the Louisville bench. He broke the index finger on his right hand. It's right in here is where the break is, according to Dabo Swinney. He will not have surgery. He will not need pins. They'll put a cast on it. How long he will be out is anybody's guess. Swinney said 3-4 weeks, maybe longer. So it's Cole Stout's team again. Cole Stout did not practice at all this week. Well, he said he practiced on Thursday. I don't know what he thinks of as practice, but Chad Morris and Dabo Swinney said he didn't practice at all this week. Nick Slosher took all of the second-team snaps in practice, and he will be the second-team quarterback behind Stout. Stout is dealing with a shoulder injury, kind of a sprain of the AC joint. He took a shot before the game, and you could tell that he was rusty and he had not prepared a whole lot physically for this game. He always tries to stay in the game mentally. But on that last drive, he did hit 3 passes. That last drive that the Tigers went down and got their last field goal, it was really Adam Choice that carried the offense. They gave the ball to him time after time, and he moved the chains for the Tigers and helped them get down into field position and also Stout had 3 completions on that drive, including one of 15 yards. But the Tigers did have their issues on offense. Short yardage, still a bugaboo for them. They really came apart late in the first half. They've got the ball down at the half-yard line. Stout is the quarterback. Time is running out. They're out of timeouts. And at the very least, they should come away with 3 points there. And they called a play for Stout to roll to his right. If there was nothing there, throw the ball away. But he kept the ball and got tackled. Tigers hurried back up to the line. As time was running out, they snapped the ball, but they were called for a procedure penalty. Thus, the 10-second runoff rule was imposed, and the half ended, and the Tigers got nothing out of it. And then the Tigers were stopped on downs at their own 41 in the third quarter. And again, they only needed about a half yard. They lined up in the shotgun. Stout took the football, hesitated for a moment, then tried to run into the line, and he was stopped for a loss. And that set up a touchdown drive for Louisville that tied the game at 17. And after the game, asked about that, Dabo Swinney said, nope, they will not go under center in those short yardage situations. As he put it, they do what they do, and that is run from the shotgun. So that situation is not going to change for Clemson. So Tigers had their issues on offense, but the defense made up for it. Special teams made up for it. For the most part, Pinion had a very good day punting the football. Humphreys was outstanding returning punts. He had 8 for 107 yards, including the touchdown. Tigers only had 229 yards of offense. Obviously, the low total of the season. The defense only gave up 264 yards. Individually, Stout, 20 of 33, 162 yards, and 1 interception. Many of those completions, those quick outs to the receivers, those quick bubble screens, especially in the fourth quarter. Adam Choice had 61 rushing yards for the Tigers. Artavis Scott, the freshman, easily the biggest game of his career so far, 10 catches for 66 yards. So the Tigers survive. And sometimes you just have to do that. You just have to dig in and survive. And they did that today in front of over 81,000 fans at Death Valley. Tigers improved to 4-2 overall, 3-1 in the ACC. And now they prepare to go up to Boston College. BC, a winner over NC State today. And obviously, with their transfer quarterback from the Florida Gators, they are a bit of an improved football team as well. They're 4-2. So we look ahead to Clemson heading to the Northeast. They'll do it without Deshaun Watson at quarterback. It's Cole Stout's team. Once again, outside of Deshaun Watson, the Tigers did not suffer any other major injuries today. They hope to get Tony Stewart back at linebacker next week. Ben Boulware played in his place today and did an excellent job. He had 10 tackles on the afternoon, so getting Stewart back would just be a bonus on that defense. But the Clemson defense did live up to the reputation it has built. They were aggressive. They were hard-hitting, and they matched Louisville's defense blow for blow, and Louisville's defense is outstanding. Lorenzo Malden, 5 years ago or 4 years ago, however long it was, South Carolina, they had Lorenzo Malden. Should have kept him. You would not be missing Jadeveon Clowney quite so much if you'd have kept Lorenzo Malden in your program, but that was a decision that they made back then prior to signing day. So again, Clemson comes away the winner tonight in Death Valley, 23-17. Of course, we've got more post-game coverage for you here at sportstalksc.com. On Sunday, we'll have coverage of Dabo Swinney's conference call. And of course, Monday night on Sports Talk, we'll take your calls and get your thoughts about tonight's ball game and everything else that went on in college football over the weekend. Thanks for joining us here. Sports Talk at the Stadium from Death Valley. Phil Kornbluth saying good night, and we'll see you Monday night on Sports Talk.